I'll give you 10 seconds to answer. If you want to answer the direct question, would you support a 70% individual marginal tax rate? Yes, no, or pass?
I would support a tax rate and a tax code that is fair to everyone. Tax capital
70%?
At the same rate that you tax ordinary income. Take that corporate tax rate up to 28%. You would generate the revenues you need to pay for the programs we're talking about.
That's time. Thank you. And we'll start this evening with Senator Elizabeth Warren. Senator, good evening to you.
Thank you.
You have many plans.
Oh, my God, look how cute Elizabeth Warren looks. She's so adorable. Elizabeth Warren is so eager to answer this question. She was the first person to ask the question at the Democrat debate, so there's a lot of pressure on her, but she knocked it out of the park. She was confident, poised, she was ready, and it was a trick question, too.
Free college, free child care, government health care, cancellation of student debt, new taxes, new regulations, the breakup of major corporations. But this comes at a time when 71% of Americans say the economy is doing well, including 60% of Democrats. What do you say to those who worry this kind of significant change could be risky to the economy?
So I think of it this way. Who is this economy really working for?
So the moderator asked a stupid trick question. She first lists a bunch of Elizabeth Warren's planks to her platform. She mentions that Elizabeth Warren is for free college, free child care, government health care. And if you think about government health care, the children, the elderly, the poor, the veterans, they all get free government health care. So many people get free government health care, and then they want to sit there and deny it to other people. So she's in favor of free college, free child care, free health care. These are all the major things that Bernie was for. She also wants to cancel student debt. Cancel some of them, cancel all of it. So she is also mentioned that she's going to raise taxes and she's going to also write more regulations, which is just general. And then that she wants to break up 10 major corporate monopolies, such as Google, Facebook, Amazon, others. So she lists off this amazing progressive platform, the moderator does, of Elizabeth Warren, and I would like to know each one of the details of that. How are you going to get us free college? How are you going to get us free child care? How are you going to get us government health care? I want to see the detailed plans behind all of these. And, you know, Elizabeth Warren probably has a plan for each one of those. So we could have actually dwelled into the issues, looked at these policy planks, and then, you know, really got into the nuts and bolts, the meat and potatoes of the issue. But instead, the moderator skips over all those things: free college, free child care, government health care. You're pro-life. How come you're opposed to the health of your neighbors? And then they're going to skip right over it, right? Canceling student debt, taxes, regulations, breaking up 10 major corporate monopolies, and says there was a poll that was out there that said that 70% of the people believe that the economy is good, including 60% of Democrats. So, okay, 70% of the people of this poll believe that it's good. They believe it. So who gives a shit if the economy is actually good or not? Who cares if we got poverty and homelessness? Who cares about actually crunching the GDP and the unemployment and the poverty numbers? Yeah, I'm sure 70% of the people who believe the economy is good, their economy might be good, but not everybody's economy is good in America. The wage increases, did they crunch the GDP and the wage increases and poverty? Did they put all those numbers together and then 70% of the people that were polled come to this conclusion? No, that didn't happen. So 60% of the Dems thinks it's good. Well, that means 40% of the Democrats thinks that it sucks. That's 2 out of 5 Americans who don't believe we have a good economy. 70% of it, that's 3 out of 7. That's a lot of people that don't believe we have a good economy. So because the majority, you know, is doing okay, but there's a minority who isn't, we're just going to just skip right over that. Who gives a shit about them? So that's statistically significant if this poll is to be believed. But that's significant that 40 to 30% of Americans don't believe we have a good economy. So that means their economies are bad, right? Probably. And the last thing I'll mention about polls is that they're based around landline telephones, which limits the statistical sample and its required randomness. So it's probably just a bunch of elderly folks. So they called all these landline phones. A bunch of elderly folks got on, and they said, yeah, their economy's doing good. The people that's on Social Security, their economy's doing just fine and dandy. The middle class is doing just fine and dandy. So who gives a shit about everybody else, huh? So I don't know what the point of this question was. This is a moderator. It sounds like it's right-wing economics, right? She's talking about free college. So she's sitting there saying, why are you going to do free college, free child care, free health care, canceling student debt, breaking up these major corporate monopolies when the economy is doing so great? Why would you do all those things when the economy is doing so fucking great? So the moderator asked a stupid and also unfair, it's a trick question. It's a trick question. So instead of her talking about the planks to her platform, instead she's sitting there just saying that there's some people in the economy that's being forgotten, which, fucking duh. Fucking duh. Like, seriously, no fucking doy. No fucking doy. Now, Elizabeth Warren is one of my favorite candidates out of the 20. I like Mike Gravel. I like somewhat Marianne Williamson. And I also like Bernie Sanders. I like Tulsi Gabbard. I like Andrew Yang. So there's about 5 or 6, that I really like. I did get, I was introduced to Beto and Mayor Pete. I never heard them talk. They actually got nice, strong, booming voices. But they're just, they talk like bureaucratic assholes. So, there's some progressive ideas that they mentioned, and really policy is everything. So I want to analyze their policy before, I make a decision. But Elizabeth Warren is in my top 5. Elizabeth Warren is up there. I do have a couple problems with Elizabeth Warren, though. 2 very important, 2 criticisms that I have for Elizabeth Warren. Number 1, Elizabeth Warren shafted the shit out of Bernie Sanders. Elizabeth Warren is playing politics. She triangulated. She didn't, endorse Hillary. She didn't endorse Bernie, and then Massachusetts goes to Hillary. Had Elizabeth Warren endorsed Hillary, or better yet, endorsed Bernie, since her platform is more identical to Bernie Sanders than it is Hillary Clinton's, instead of actually going with the candidate that most aligned with her viewpoints, instead she endorsed nobody. And Massachusetts goes to Hillary Clinton. So she would have endorsed Bernie Sanders, the better candidate. Not only her, but a lot of people try to sabotage Bernie Sanders. Right? Noam Chomsky, he says, well, maybe you should, maybe you shouldn't, but you definitely should vote for Hillary. That's a moral imperative. So Elizabeth Warren shafted the shit out of Bernie Sanders. She could have brought Massachusetts into Bernie's camp, and then that might have actually turned the entire election because Massachusetts voted in one of the earlier elections. And then Elizabeth Warren, at the State of the Union, gives Donald Trump a standing ovation in celebration of capitalism. Which, how fucking disgusting. Even if you just, love capitalism and you hated socialism, there's a slow-motion coup d'etat going on in Venezuela right now. And it has to do with world hegemony, it has to do with oil, and it has to do with them being socialist. So she's going to sit there and jump up and cheer. Where is she at on Venezuela? A lot of these candidates didn't say shit about Venezuela. A lot of them were opposed to war with Iran. But when it comes to Venezuela, it's okay. It's just fine and dandy, totally acceptable to intervene, to invade a sovereign nation, to steal their oil, to take over their country just, because we can. If we can. That's going to be a protracted war. Insurgents are going to be fighting for us forever and ever. That's going to bring terrorism up to the United States. We don't need war with Venezuela. But when you have Elizabeth Warren, standing up and then cheering on Donald Trump's attack on socialism and defense, full-throated defense of capitalism, even though Donald Trump just gave, $18 billion to the farmers? So, okay, so you're socialist when it comes to poor people, but when you all need fucking money, then you're totally socialist, right? So Donald Trump is a corporate socialist. Now, Elizabeth Warren, she might be a corporate socialist too. So she's going to, cheer for capitalism, give him a standing ovation. That's just disgusting. So I hated how Elizabeth Warren, cheered for Donald's celebration of his bullshit crony capitalism, his corporate capitalism. And so what? The fuck socialism? We need both. God damn it, we need a fucking brain and we need a heart. We need both socialism and capitalism. We need some public spending. We need some, freedom for the private market. That we need both. We need a consensus, and we've agreed on this for the last 70 years. That's why we got schools, and that's why we got, we got McDonald's. So we got lots of corporations, and we got lots of government entities. So we have a mixed system right now. But to celebrate just capitalism, are you going to cut all the social spending? How are you going to get free college, free child care, and government health care if you're opposed to, government spending? So, I think she's just playing fucking politics when it comes to socialism, and people might say, oh, she's a politician. Of course she's supposed to play politics. You're supposed to stand up for what's right. The good politics is when there's an incident or a crisis and you stand up for justice and righteousness and truth. So when the moment is there, when you have the power, when you got something to do, you make the right decision. That's a good policy. That's a good politicking right there. That means you actually give a shit about the people. So I didn't like that she shafted Bernie in 2016, and then she gave this full-throated celebration of capitalism when Donald Trump said something about it. So I'm not, a slam dunk for Elizabeth Warren, but she's one of the most progressives, and she's got a lot of good ideas. I haven't heard Bernie Sanders talking about breaking up the 10 major corporate monopolies. And so, that's something that Bernie Sanders, she basically took free college, free child care, and free government health care from Bernie, but Bernie could take breaking up 10 major corporate monopolies.
We need to get back into the Iran nuclear agreement, and we need to negotiate how we can improve it. Donald Trump and his cabinet, Mike Pompeo, John Bolton, and others, are creating a situation that just a spark would light off a war with Iran, which is incredibly dangerous. That's why we need to de-escalate tensions. Trump needs to get back into the Iran nuclear deal and swallow his pride, put the American people first. I've served with LGBTQ service members, both in training and deployed downrange. I know that they would give their life for me, and I would give my life for them. It is this commitment that I'll carry through as president.